Hello Internet, and welcome to the video you've all been waiting for, or at least the one I've been meticulously, almost obsessively preparing. Today we're diving headfirst into the animus to rank every mainline Assassin's Creed game, from the absolute digital dumpster fires to the pinnacle of historical homicide. That's right folks, we're going full completionist on this one, leaving no stone unturned, no Templar well, you get the idea. This isn't just about my gut feelings, oh no. We're applying a rigorous, almost scientific methodology here. We'll be dissecting these games based on a multifaceted criteria matrix, the fluidity and satisfaction of their gameplay. How good does it to stab, sneak, and parkour? The depth and impact of their story. Did it make us question reality or just our life choices for playing? The sheer audacity of their innovation. Did they push the franchise forward or just slap a new coat of paint on an old hidden blade? And of course, the ever-vocal, ever-passionate fan reception, because your collective cheers and jeers absolutely matter in the grand tapestry of gaming history. This is going to be a monumental undertaking, a true test of analytical endurance. So, buckle up, synchronize your viewpoints, and prepare for some potentially controversial placements. This is ultimate ranking, backed by hours of research, playthroughs, and maybe a little too much caffeine. But the real question is, what's yours? As we go through this epic saga, I want you, yes you, to be thinking about your own list. Get those keyboards ready because down in the comments I expect to see your personal rankings, your passionate defenses, and your inevitable disagreements. Let the great Assassin's Creed debate begin. Alright, kicking off our list, and trust me, this one hurts to place so low because the potential was astronomical, is Assassin's Creed Unity. Picture this: the French Revolution, a densely packed Paris. The first truly next-gen Assassin's Creed experience on the then-new PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The ambition was palpable. Ubisoft promised a revolution not just in setting, but in gameplay, with co-op missions, revamped parkour, and crowds unlike anything we'd seen before. The trailers looked breathtaking, the hype was through the non-existent roof of Notre Dame. We were all ready to storm the Bastille of our collective expectations. But then, it launched. Oh, the humanity, or rather the lack thereof on characters' faces. Assassin's Creed Unity became infamous, almost overnight, for a veritable plague of bugs, glitches, and performance issues that would make even Abstergo's IT department blush. From Arno falling through the world to NPCs with missing faces that haunted our nightmares, it was a technical catastrophe. While patches eventually smoothed out many of the roughest edges, and the core game underneath had some genuinely beautiful environments and interesting ideas, that disastrous first impression was a critical hit the game's reputation, and its fan reception never fully recovered from. A classic case of ambition outstripping execution. Next up, we have a game that often gets lost in the shuffle, partly because it launched alongside the aforementioned Unity, but on the previous generation of consoles, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, Rogue had a fascinating premise, one that fans had been curious about for ages. What's it like to play as a Templar? You step into the boots of Shay Patrick Cormac, an assassin who, through a crisis of conscience, turns his back on the Brotherhood and joins their sworn enemies. This narrative twist offered a unique perspective on the age-old conflict, showing us that morality isn't always as black and white, or rather, as assassin white and Templar red as it seems. However, while the story concept was strong, the game itself often felt like a very polished, very extensive expansion pack for Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, rather than a fully distinct title. It reused a lot of Black Flag's assets, naval mechanics, and general world structure, but transplanted them to the colder climes of the North Atlantic. It was well made for what it was, and Shay's journey provided some crucial lore links, but its smaller scale and last-gen feel meant it was overshadowed by its troubled next-gen sibling and didn't quite make the splash a mainline title usually does. It's a solid entry, but more of a side story, a what-if, than a revolutionary chapter. Now we venture into slightly different territory with Assassin's Creed Chronicles. This wasn't one game, but a trilogy of smaller, downloadable titles, China, India, and Russia, each featuring a distinct assassin art style and historical period, all presented in a 2.5D side-scrolling perspective. The idea was clearly to expand the Assassin's Creed universe into new territories and gameplay styles, offering bite-sized stealth experiences that were different from the massive open-world adventures we'd grown accustomed to. The art direction in each was genuinely striking, particularly China's brushstroke aesthetic. But here's the theory. While the concept of exploring these new assassins and settings was appealing, the shift to 2.5D stealth action platforming, while functional, just didn't capture the core essence of what makes an Assassin's Creed game for many fans. The freedom of movement, the intricate parkour puzzles in a 3D space, the feeling of seamlessly blending into a bustling city, these were largely absent. The Chronicles games felt more like a spin-off experiment, and while not inherently bad, they didn't resonate deeply with the core fanbase looking for that signature AC experience, hence their position near the bottom of our grand ranking. Climbing slightly higher, we find Assassin's Creed Liberation, a title that holds the distinction of introducing us to the series' first playable female protagonist, Aveline de Grandpré. Originally released on the PlayStation Vita, Liberation transported players to 18th century New Orleans, a vibrant and unique setting rarely explored in gaming. Aveline herself was an interesting character with a unique persona system, allowing her to switch between outfits, assassin lady and slave, to access different abilities and social interactions, which was a genuinely innovative mechanic for the series at the time. However, Liberation's origins as a handheld title were evident even in its later HD console ports. The scope of the game, the complexity of its missions and the overall polish just couldn't quite match up to its mainline console brethren. The world felt smaller, the narrative a bit more contained, and some of the gameplay systems, while ambitious for a portable, felt simplified. It was a commendable effort, especially for the Vita, and Aveline deserved her moment in the spotlight, but when stacked against the sheer scale and depth of other entries, Liberation's limitations become more apparent, placing it in the lower echelons of our ranking. Assassin's Creed Revelations. This one holds a special place for many, as it marked the poignant conclusion to the saga of not one but two legendary assassins, Ezio Auditore da Firenze and the original protagonist, Altair ibn la-Ahad. Set primarily in the stunning city of Constantinople, with an older, wiser Ezio seeking to uncover the secrets of Altair's library, the game promised a deeply emotional and lore-rich experience. And on that front, it largely delivered. Seeing Ezio's journey come to a close and witnessing Altair's final moments provided a sense of closure that was genuinely impactful for longtime fans. The narrative weight, however, wasn't quite matched by gameplay innovation. While Constantinople was a beautifully realized new playground and the introduction of the hook blade added a new dimension to traversal and gave us that catchy hook-and-run phrase, much of the core gameplay loop felt very similar to its predecessor, Brotherhood. The bomb crafting system was complex but perhaps a bit fiddly for some, and the tower defense minigame wasn't universally beloved. Revelations felt like a necessary and emotional epilogue rather than a groundbreaking new chapter, a respectful but somewhat safe iteration on a proven formula, which is why it sits here on our list. Now we arrive at a truly divisive entry, a game that carried an immense weight of expectation, Assassin's Creed 3. This was meant to be the next grand evolution, the culmination of the Desmond Miles modern-day storyline set against the epic backdrop of the American Revolution. A new protagonist, Connor Kenway, or Raton Hacton, a new engine called Anvil, next promising visceral combat and sprawling wildernesses and the introduction of naval combat. The hype was, to put it mildly, revolutionary in itself. Ubisoft was swinging for the fences, aiming to redefine what an AC game could be, but then the game landed, and the reception was complicated. Connor, with his stoic and often grim demeanor, proved to be a less universally beloved protagonist than the charismatic Ezio. The story, particularly its opening hours, which featured an extended prologue playing as Haytham Kenway, suffered from pacing issues that frustrated many players eager to dive into Connor's main narrative. While the game introduced fantastic new elements like the aforementioned naval gameplay, a detailed homestead system, and impressive wilderness traversal, it also felt clunkier in places than its predecessors, with some bugs and a mission design that occasionally felt restrictive, a game of incredible highs and some notable lows. Galloping into the next spot on our list is Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which whisked us away to the smog-filled, gang-ridden streets of Victorian London. This entry brought a refreshing change of pace with its dual protagonists, the Fry twins Jacob, the brash brawler, and Evie, the stealthy strategist. Players could switch between them for most of the game, utilizing their unique skill sets, which added a fun dynamic. And let's not forget the introduction of the rope launcher or grappling hook, which dramatically sped up traversal across London's wide avenues and tall buildings, a much-needed quality-of-life improvement. Syndicate was, in many ways, a direct response to the criticisms leveled at Unity. It was more polished, more focused, and generally a more lighthearted and enjoyable romp. The gang warfare system, taking over boroughs of London, was engaging, and the setting was impeccably realized. However, while it was a very competent and fun Assassin's Creed experience, it didn't bring much in terms of groundbreaking innovation to the core formula. It felt like a refinement, a course correction, rather than a bold new direction. It was a solid, reliable entry that played it relatively safe, which is why it lands comfortably in the middle tier of our ranking good but not quite legendary. Sailing into our upper rankings, we have the colossal Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This game took us to the highly anticipated Viking Age, letting us step into the boots of Eivor Varinsdottir, or Varinsson, depending on your choice, as they led their clan from the war-torn shores of Norway to establish a new home in 9th century England. Valhalla fully embraced the RPG mechanics introduced in Origins and Odyssey, offering a massive open world, a deep skill tree, customizable settlements, and epic-scale raids and assaults. The sheer amount of content was, and still is, staggering. However, that immense scale was both Valhalla's greatest strength and, for some, its most significant weakness. While the world was beautiful and packed with things to do, many players experienced a sense of content bloat, with a main story that could stretch well over 60, even 100 hours, leading to pacing issues and a feeling that the core Assassin's Creed experience was sometimes diluted. The return of social stealth and the hidden blade was welcomed, but the formula, even with the Viking dressing, was beginning to show signs of fatigue for a portion of the fanbase. It's a monumental game, an epic saga, but its sheer size can be a double-edged Danish axe. Here we have a game that wasn't just an iteration but a genuine reimagining of the franchise Assassin's Creed Origins. After a year-long hiatus for the series, which was honestly a much-needed breather after Syndicate, Ubisoft came back with a vengeance, transporting us to the breathtakingly beautiful and mysterious lands of ancient Egypt. We played as Bayek of Siwa, a Medjay whose personal tragedy sets him on a path to becoming one of the first assassins. This game was a pivotal moment, marking a significant shift towards a more action RPG-focused experience. Origins introduced a completely revamped combat system, abandoning the old paired animation style for a hitbox-based system, alongside loot, levels, skill trees, and a much greater emphasis on exploration. Senu, Bayek's eagle companion, became our new eagle vision, scouting out locations and enemies. The world of Ptolemaic Egypt was not just vast but incredibly detailed and alive. Bayek himself was a compelling, deeply human protagonist. This was the shot in the arm the series desperately needed, a bold reinvention that revitalized fan interest and laid the groundwork for the next phase of Assassin's Creed, earning it a very high spot on our list. Standing tall near the peak of our Assassin's Creed mountain is the absolutely epic Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If Origins was the blueprint for the series' RPG transformation, Odyssey took that blueprint, supersized it, and infused it with the vibrant mythology and sprawling landscapes of ancient Greece during the Peloponnesian War. Players chose between two Spartan siblings, Cassandra or Alexios, embarking on a truly massive adventure filled with warring city-states, legendary creatures, and impactful player choices that genuinely shaped the narrative. This was Assassin's Creed embracing its inner RPG like never before. Odyssey doubled down on everything Origins introduced: more abilities, deeper customization, a vast ocean to explore with your ship, the Adrestia, and a world so enormous it could take hundreds of hours to fully uncover. The introduction of dialogue options and branching storylines gave players unprecedented agency. While some purists argued it strayed too far from the traditional assassin identity, the sheer joy of exploring its beautiful world, engaging in its robust combat, and carving out your own heroic or infamous path was undeniable for many. It was a bold, ambitious, and incredibly engaging experience that truly felt like an epic journey. We're nearing the summit, folks, and claiming an incredibly high position is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This game is often cited as the moment the Ezio trilogy, and perhaps the classic AC formula, reached its zenith. Picking up directly after the events of Assassin's Creed II, Brotherhood sees Ezio Auditore take the fight to the Borgia in the heart of their power Rome. But he wasn't alone this time. The game introduced the titular Brotherhood mechanic, allowing players to recruit disillusioned citizens, train them as assassins, and call upon them in battle, or send them on missions across Europe. This single innovation transformed the gameplay, adding a strategic layer and making you feel like a true leader of the Assassin Order. Rome itself was a massive unified city, a technical marvel at the time, and liberating it district by district was incredibly satisfying. Brotherhood also refined the combat, added new gadgets, and even introduced a surprisingly robust and innovative multiplayer mode that was a hit with fans. It took everything that made ACI great and polished it to a mirror sheen, delivering a focused, content-rich, and incredibly empowering experience. It's a testament to how a sequel can build upon its predecessor in almost every conceivable way. And here we are at the very top of the scaffold, the Eagle's Perch, the absolute pinnacle of Assassin's Creed history, in my humble yet thoroughly researched opinion. Assassin's Creed 2. If the original Assassin's Creed was the ambitious proof of concept, then Assassin's Creed 2 was the game that took that concept and forged it into a legend. It introduced us to one of gaming's most beloved protagonists, Ezio Auditore da Firenze, and took us on an unforgettable journey through the stunning cities of Renaissance Italy, Florence, Venice, Tuscany. This game wasn't just a sequel, it was a revelation. Assassin's Creed 2 improved upon its predecessor in literally every single department. The story was a captivating tale of revenge, family, and growth, transforming Ezio from a brash youth into a master assassin. The mission variety was vastly expanded, the world felt alive and brimming with secrets, an economic system was introduced allowing you to upgrade your villa, and iconic historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci became integral parts of your adventure. It laid the foundation for so much of what we love about the series, perfectly blending historical tourism, compelling narrative, and satisfying stealth action gameplay. It's the game that truly defined Assassin's Creed and set a gold standard that subsequent titles would strive to reach. And there you have it, my exhaustive, definitive, and I'm sure entirely uncontroversial ranking of every mainline Assassin's Creed game. Phew, that was a journey through history, through triumphs and a few stumbles, wasn't it? From the buggy streets of revolutionary Paris to the sun-drenched shores of ancient Greece, and all the way back to the Renaissance masterpiece that started Ezio's legend. We've analyzed, theorized, and maybe even shed a nostalgic tear or two. It's clear that this franchise, despite its ups and downs, has left an undeniable mark on the gaming landscape, offering us windows into incredible historical periods. But this is just my theory, my meticulously crafted list. The beauty of a series this vast and varied is that everyone's experience, everyone's favorite memory, is different. So now, the hidden blade is in your hand. I want to know your rankings. Head down to the comments section right now and let me know your top picks, your most underrated gems, and the games you think I got completely wrong. Don't be shy, let's get a real debate going. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, if you appreciated the sheer analytical effort, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content just like this, and share this video with your fellow assassins, or Templars. We don't discriminate here much. What's next on the Mikhail channel, you ask? Well, let's just say I've been looking at another long-running series with a penchant for historical settings and morally gray protagonists. Or maybe a deep dive into the actual historical accuracy of some of these games. You'll have to stick around to find out. Until then, remember to aim true, trust in your creed, and as always, stay sharp, theorists. Thanks for watching.